Hey YouTube and my subscribers, JC1894 here on how to replace a front left traxxas A-arm on your traxxas slash Ford F-150 Raptor SVT or your regular two-wheel drive slash. Now, what you guys are going to want to do is go ahead and take off your body and take off whichever wheel that's the A-arm's broke on. Now, after you get your wheel off, which you can go ahead and begin to remove the shock off on the bottom, and that's a 2.0 Allen wrench. Now after you get that screw that's right here on your A-arm on the bottom removed, it should look like that black screw. Now you want to remember that went for the bottom of the shock. Simply take and pull up on the bottom of your shock, then just take and bring it up like this and pull your body mount back to bring it up out of the way, something like that. Now next off, you want to take this screw here out. This is a 2.0 Allen wrench. Remember that. Now, after you get that out, it should look like that. There's so many threads on it. Now, you want to take both of them 2.0 screws and set them aside. And after you've done that, you want to move your hub carrier and turnbuckles back out of the way if you can, or just simply pull your A-arm up a little bit. Then take your small flathead screwdriver. You have a C-clip down here in the front that's connected to the A-arm, and this fiberglass piece that's going across for your A-arms. You want to take that flathead screwdriver and turn that C-clip towards where the opening is towards the top, and just simply pull back on a little bit. You may want to put your hand underneath of it, and it should come right out. Sometimes they come flying out. Looks like that. Little silver C-clip. Then take either a flathead screwdriver, a small one again, and push on that pin. It should come sliding right out. And you should be able to pull it right out, and your A-arm should fall. If it's in on there tight, it won't fall. And what I done is I broke it by accident, hit my dad's truck tire. Then I thought it was alright, so I looked at it and there was no cracks on it. So I just barely bumped the telephone pole and it broke it right off. Now, just simply get your new one. If you got RPM, it's the same way to put it on. Now, what you want to do is just simply line the holes up and pull the fiberglass piece back out of the way. Then just simply line all that back up and get the pin that come out of there with the C-clip on it. And you want to make sure that you put the part you took the C-clip off of facing whichever way you took it off. Now, what I'm going to do is just simply push it right even with the surface where it's going to go in at. So after I get that lined up, I just simply push it right in. It will be harder to do because it's a new A-arm, so you might have to tap a little bit on it. Just simply line all that back up. And you want to make sure that nothing's in the way. Just simply hold the A-arm where you need it It may be kind of hard to do without taking your bumper off, but this is a quick way of doing it. Thought I'd show you guys how to do this. But it may be easier to flip your truck over on its side so you guys can see this better. Just simply push it in, pull that fiberglass piece back up, make sure you get that lined up too. You can move it and bend it if you have to. Then you're going to need a small pair of needle nose pliers, something like these, with a C-clip. Just put the C-clip on the end of it like that. Make sure you hold that tight so that C-clip doesn't come out of the needle nose. And when you hear it click, it's starting to go on. Then what you want to do is just straighten that out a little bit. Then you can take the nose of them and push on the back of the C-clip. And it should go in. And you want to just simply take and squeeze on it a little bit to make sure that it's in there. And if you got a bigger flathead screwdriver, or you can use a small one, just push around on it to make sure it's on and in that groove on the C-clip, which it's in there really good. Now you can begin to take and put your hub carrier back on. Now this will be a little bit tougher to do because you have to make the thread holes for that silver 2.0 Allen wrench screw. Remember, it's only got so many threads on it, so you can push it in even like how you do with the C-clip pin. But it may be a little bit harder to do because it's going to be new. Just simply make sure you line up them holes. You can put a little bit of WD-40 on it, which I already did before I put it on, but it doesn't really help it any. It seemed like it does on some parts. Now what you want to do is just simply screw that back in. That screw will get a little warm because it's making its own threads going in because the Aeon's new. And just remember to use the 2.0 Allen wrench on it, the small one. Make sure, if you guys want, if you race, you want to put Loctite on it because it will back out on you when you're racing. Same thing with your caster block screws and the hub carrier screw for the turnbuckle. They will back out too. Just simply work it, make sure that it's not got any kind of tightness. Make sure it's not too tight because that could cause something else to break. So take your shock and push it back over the body post, and just simply line it up to the hole that you were using, which I'm using the stock setting, which is closer to the bumper. Then take your other black 2.0 Allen wrench screw and put it on the bottom there. Then you will hear it go into and after you get that in, you can go ahead and tighten that down. Well, after you get that tight, you can put your wheel back on. But you want to go ahead and check that C-clip again to make sure that it didn't work itself loose. Because sometimes they'll pop back out. So just make sure it's in there really good. Just simply work that some more. And what I'm going to do, just simply push around on it to make sure that it's on there. It appears to be on there pretty good. Now, you remember when you took your wheel off, you want to make sure you line this up with this gray piece on here, because if you don't, you will strip out this block for your wheel. Make sure you line that up. And a little bit of trick of putting your wheel back on, you can take your wheel and spin it the opposite way, and it will tighten up, finger tight. And you take your wheel lug wrench and put it on, then just spin the wheel towards the front of the truck. Then you don't want that too tight, just tight enough to where the wheel don't move. You do not want to over torque it. You want to just snug it up till you don't feel the wheel moving anymore. Then you should be able to spin your wheel. It should spin freely. Spin it both ways. And just simply take and move that front wheel again to make sure, because it's good to make sure that this don't come out. But if your C-clip is bent, you may want to get a new one. But comment, like, and subscribe. More videos coming soon of tips on the 4-wheel drive Flash, and a couple more how-tos on my traxxas Flash Ford F-150 Raptor XVT. Comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you guys later.